What is it? What is it? Oh my god, I need a haircut. Oh no. This is how I know. When you have a buzz cut and glasses, this is how you know when to cut your hair. It's when your hair starts to do this underneath your glasses. What is this? Hi guys, my name is Lacey of Spookulous and Fat Hips, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I don't know why I'm like pointing now in my intro, like pew, 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 pew. Welcome back. Hopefully you've read the title, so hopefully you can be even a little bit as excited as I am, because today not only am I going to be talking about palettes that if I could just change one thing, these palettes will be perfect, but I'm talking about this with one of my favorite YouTubers ever, Angelica Nyqvist, here on YouTube. First of all, I'm very aware that I'm American and that Angie says all the time that us Americans can't get her name right, which is very true. Angelica Nyqvist. I'm trying so hard. Angie, she lets us Americans call her Angie. Angelica Nyqvist. Name here for the sake of, so I stopped butchering my friend's name. Oh my gosh. When Angie reached out to me and asked me if I want to do this collab with her, I nearly peed my pants, like truthfully, because I'm such a super fan of her and her channel, and I think that she's becoming so influential in terms of like small YouTubers, and she's growing so rapidly, and she's collabing with brands like Sigma and Clean Cosmetics and things like that, and it's so well deserved. Angie is so talented, not only when it comes to makeup, but she's just a sweet person. She, you know, makes great content. She's humorous. She has like a great sense of humor. She has just a good eye for makeup, just point blank. She has such a great eye for color combinations, for makeup, for technique. If you're ever interested in learning how to put colorful makeup on your face, I highly suggest you go check out her tutorials and her 3 looks 1 palette kind of things. She does commentary videos, kind of like how I make. She does tutorials, like I said. She's just such a wonderful person, and I'm so absolutely thrilled, not only that she asked me to collab with her, because I love her so much, but that her channel is becoming more and more successful as the days go. Like, more and more people are finding out about her. She's getting all these amazing opportunities, and I think if there's anyone on this platform that deserves it, it's Angie. So once again, Angie, thank you so much for asking me to collab with you. I'm just like I feel like I've mentioned it before, like the worm meme where it's like, me, I'm only a worm. Like, that's how I feel right now in this collab. Like, I'm not worthy. But yes, gushing aside, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about 5 palettes that I feel like were almost there. They were almost like, you know what I mean? Like, just if I could just change one thing, if I could just like tweak, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're so oversaturated with makeup in general. I just talked about this in a previous video. And palettes are coming out left and right. Like, every makeup company has figured out that palettes are the go-to it item right now. I don't know what this hand movement was. And they're popping them out, and I feel like we're getting closer to having like a good amount of like awesome palettes, but we're like, no way, like if I can just... So that's where we are right now. So a couple of these are palettes I don't own. Maybe if they were tweaked a little bit, I'd be more interested in it. And then 2 are palettes that I do own. 5 altogether. I'm going to try to keep this on the shorter side because we all know how I like to ramble. Jumping right into it, I'm going to start with a palette that I do really love and I do plan on buying. This is the Give Me Glow Summer Vibes palette, which just came out, which I know a lot of people were super excited about. Like I said, this is on my wish list. I haven't bought it yet. I know it releases like every Friday. They restock it every Friday, but I work Fridays, so I'm not here to grab it before it sells out. So one of these days, it'll be here waiting for me when I come home from work. But for the time being, I love this palette. I think it's beautiful. I think it's like the summer palette that we've all been asking for, the summer palette that we deserved. It has such a good color range, and I feel like for people who have been bummed out by the various lemonade palettes that have came out, oh my gosh. The various lemonade palettes that have came out and they've kind of been disappointing. I feel like this could be a good palette for those people who are kind of looking for those yellowish tones. However, that being said, I personally think there's one too many browns in this palette. It has those gorgeous blues, it has those gorgeous corals, and it has 1 matte yellow, which I'm fine with. I can take the 1 matte yellow. What I really want to do is kick out that bottom deepest brown metallic shade because it's just one too many browns. I don't want to throw in a like sunshiny yellow metallic in its place. So backtracking, the reason why I think this palette is so popular and people are losing their minds over it is because it's mostly a colorful palette with a pop of brown, which perfect for this collab because Angelica talks about pops of brown palettes all the time. But, personally that's why I like it, because there's just enough browns where you could do something more, say it with me, wearable with it, but like it also has the fun colors for people who want to like try to step out of the comfort zone. That one metallic brown I feel like just doesn't need to be there. I feel like if you are an eyeshadow lover, you probably have a metallic brown 5,000 times over. And by adding this sunshiny yellow metallic in its place, one, you can do more yellow based looks because you only have one yellow to begin with. But then you could take those corals, make like a pink lemonade look, you can mix it with the blues, and that's going to be very complimentary. And I just feel like it kind of just amps it up a notch. Like even if you use the corals and the blues and just put that in a corner, like it needs in my opinion, it needs a sunshiny yellow metallics. Like something that could be a highlight, something that could be a lid shade, something to just summerify it even more. The good thing about Give Me Glow Cosmetics though is that you can take out their individual shadows in their palettes. So hey, maybe if I come across the perfect yellow in the future, I can do that because like I said, I'm buying this palette. It's like $54, but I love their formula so much that it's happening. But yeah, if I could just, you know, fix one thing. This next palette, this was like the first thing I thought of when sitting down to like create my list of like, because when I saw this palette release, right away I'm like, this doesn't feel like a cohesive palette. I see what you're doing. If I could just like help you out there. Of course that's Manny MUA's Lunar Beauty Life's a Drag palette. A lot of people have had the same kind of the same issue with this palette, that it feels like two halves of two different palettes smushed together. And I kind of get what he was trying to do. I get that he was trying to appeal to the neutral elves and the colorful elves and be like, I got you all covered. I feel like if I could just change like one thing, Manny, just let me help you out. I'm not messing with the colors in this palette. All I'm doing is mixing that first column of shimmers and swapping it with the black and the white in this palette. That way you get your like neutrals right to start off with, and then it kind of almost transitions into a day to night palette. And I think if it was presented this way, it might freak people out less to have half a palette of neutrals rather, and then half a palette of colorful. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that way you could like, and he could have advertised it as a day to night palette that way and been like, hey, do you want to look like everyday Manny MUA? And like, you can have this side, but then if you want to kick it up a notch, just transition to the other side. Maybe that's not a big deal. I don't know, but I feel like aesthetically it's a lot more pleasing, a lot more inspiring to look at it that way. Is that just me? I don't know, because the blacks and the whites can go with the neutrals, but then it could also go with the colorfuls. Like, it almost feels like the correct needed place for them. I'm making a lot of hand gestures in this video today. I just feel like people are looking at the specific neutrals he chose and are not understanding how to pair it with the specific brights that he chose. And I think either Georgia said this in a live stream or something, like one of our joint live streams or something. When I see people review this palette, people are either doing the neutral looks or the colorful looks, are not combining both. And I just feel like that black and that white would have been a nice bridge to marry the two sides of the palette, if you will. Again, lots of like, it's because I gave myself space here to put the photos, and I just like having too much free time. I'm having too good of a time with the allotted hand gesture. Anyway, this is my last mock-up because this palette especially like is so close to being like, oh yes, this is a wonderful palette. I feel like they were on the right track. They gave us something new and different, but in my opinion, you might disagree with me on this one, I don't know. The Smashbox Cover Shot Pinks and Palms palette, I feel like when we saw the images for it and we were all like, whew, it's a breath of fresh air in the land of makeup, and I agree. This is really a cute palette. I don't hear anyone buying it or talking about it, but I think concept-wise it's adorable. I have a couple of the Cover Shot palettes. They're not the greatest palettes in the world, which I think has a lot to do with why no one's talking about it. But for me, I just want to kick out one of those pinks and add another green. I feel like you're going to call it Pinks and Palms, as in palm trees, I'm assuming. But you're only giving us one green, and then all these pinks and a gold. Like, I feel like if we just kicked out one of those pinks because they're a little repetitive, and put in a green. It could be a matte green, it could be a metallic green, whatever. Just like, so we have a little bit more variety than just the one matte, kind of almost too light green that might not show up on a lot of skin tones. I think if they added one that was slightly darker but still in that realm of like palm and tropical, I just feel like now I look at this palette and I'm inspired because I have that one more green. I could do it using the crease, I can put on the lid. I have a lot more variety, so that way I don't have to do a full pink look with just a hint of green. Do you hear these birds, by the way? Either they violently agree with me or they violently disagree and they need to chime in. But yeah, I just think that one, like, just, you know, swap it out. Give me, if you're gonna call it palette pinks and palms, I need more than just one green. Is that just me? Like, they'd be calling it like red and blue extravaganza, but it's all reds and one blue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just pinks and palms. I need more palm. Smash mouth. Ha, somebody. I need more palm. Smashbox, just a little bit more palm. And then these last two palettes, these are actually what I like immediately my mind went to when we were talking about the idea for this video. They're both Violet Voss palettes, and the thing about Violet Voss is they have such a great formula, but I feel like all of their palettes just like slightly miss the mark. I feel like they kind of get a little repetitive, especially within their own palettes. They tend to like repeat similar colors a lot, the same way that ColourPop, I see you, tends to be doing lately. Knock it off. And I just feel like if I could help you out, Violet Voss, because I love your formula. Your formula is amazing, and every time you guys go on sale, I end up buying one of your palettes because I love your formula so much, but your color stories leave a little bit to be desired. So the first one is actually the one I'm wearing on my face today, and I kind of added the color that I wish existed with this palette to emphasize my point. This is the Violet Voss Taupe Notch palette, which I really love. I love that a cool tone palette exists in the world because one, Violet Voss in general tends to only do warm tone palettes, but two, this is just like, I don't know, I like a cool tone palette. Let's do this, shall we? This is my problem with this palette. This is a gorgeous palette, taupey tones, brownish taupes, cool tones, and then a lot of these metallics have a little bit of a purple base to them, which is why if they could kick out one of these three browns in this row because they're all roughly so similar, especially when they're on the eyes, let's kick out Royal, because its name is Royal, and throw in a matte purple. A matte purple would take this palette to another level. To do my eye look today, I used Sugar Pills 2 AM and kind of put that as my transition color just to bring out the like subtle purpleness and the metallic shades and like, you know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know, the palette is just screaming for a purple. So this is like my idea. If they had a matte purple just like that in this palette, oh, I'm gonna take off my glasses and give you guys a close-up. If you can see that there's just kind of like a subtle hue of purple to my whole look now. I don't get why people who make cool tone palettes are so afraid to throw blues and purples and greens in their palettes. I don't get it. But especially purples. Like, I feel like what red is to a warm tone palette, purple could be to a cool tone palette. And you get like almost purple metallics in this, which is why I don't get just one beautiful purple matte. Just to have the little oomph that I'm craving with this palette. Just please, Violet Voss, you're so close. So close, Violet Voss. Similarly, they're like a Boss palette, which I love using this palette for work, but this is like so great in concept, but it just like misses the mark for me. This is a warmer tone palette, but the thing I like about this palette, and the reason why this palette has so much potential to me, sorry if you hear trafficy noise, by the way. I'm trying to film with my windows open so the light's better. I'm never doing that again. The thing about this palette that's beautiful is that they're mixing greens with reds, which is very beautiful, and not a lot of people tend to do that. Red and green complement each other very well, but it's very hard to pair them, I understand, without looking like Christmas. So this palette really just barely misses the mark because I feel like, again, like the missing purple in the taupe palette, if they could kick out, I don't know, one of these browns. There's so many browns in this palette. Forever brown lovin'. Let's kick out this one and throw in a beautiful matte like foresty green. Maybe one that's a little bit lighter than this metallic up here. Oh, talk about fucking the game up. If there was a matte green to go with the metallic reds, but also the like reddish toned green metallics in this palette, just one. So just like in the taupe palette, you can have, you know, that little bit of accent. You can just kick it up a notch. That would have been perfect because this is a great color selection. I'm about to be like makeup struggles and start yelling at the traffic out my window. Again, like the taupe, it's so close, and I think if it had that just to pull together. And I know before anyone comes for me, I know you can put shimmers in your crease. I know that. Every time I mention wanting more matte shades, there's always one person that's like, you know, you can put shimmers in your crease. I know that. I personally don't like to put shimmers in my crease. I don't, unless it's like a matte with just a little bit of shimmer in it, like a satiny shade. I don't like to put, like, especially if you felt Voss's metallic formula, they have one of the best metallic eyeshadow formulas because of how oily and slick and like high shine they are. I can't imagine putting this in the crease. I don't think it would work well in my favor. So if there was just that one matte, just like I said, a little bit lighter than this color, perfection. What are some palettes that you guys think just need a little like you know, I'm just gonna fix one thing? Let me know down below. Definitely, if you haven't already, and I can't imagine how you haven't already, check out Angelica's channel, check out her video. Again, Angie, thank you so much for wanting to collab with me. I feel so honored and so not worthy. That's dramatic. But I'm so happy that we got to do this, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Talk to me down below. Do you agree with my mock-ups? What would you change about these palettes, if anything? What other palettes would you want to change? Follow me on Instagram, hit the bell, like, subscribe, blah blah blah. You guys know how it works. And I will see you, hand movements, in my next video. Bye guys!